I'm sure there'll be a delay or something.
All right. I think we're finally here, and
Yeah.
we're just waiting to check, see if it comes on my
Oh,
screen
oh,
here
I
as well.
see us. I see us. I see us. We're
Cool.
live. I see it right there.
Perfect. Well, it wouldn't be NAMM if something didn't go wrong and you had to fix it pretty quickly. But thank you everyone for waiting with
Oh,
us. We're here
I
with
gotta turn this. I gotta figure out how to turn the volume down now. I see us. I see us. I see us. Uh-oh. We're live. I see it right there. How do I turn that down?
Perfect. Well, it wouldn't be NAMM if something didn't go wrong and you had to fix it pretty quickly. But
Nope.
thank you everyone for
That's
waiting
not.
with us. We're here with.
Okay. All right. All right. Uh-oh. How do I turn that down? Uh, got it. Got it. It's all.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Ooh, sorry about that.
thanks for being with us here right now, Vic. Sorry to
You're
everyone
welcome.
watching who had to wait a couple minutes. Technical difficulties there, but we're here, and we're here to be here with Believe in Music Week for NAMM. You know, it's not taking place in sunny Anaheim, but hopefully everyone's safe at home. How you doing, Vic?
Yeah. I'm doing well. Doing well. Thanks for having me here, Ryan. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been a little bit of a strange time, but luckily we're still able to get together with friends and artists and musicians, and get a chance to say hi. This is what you can set your calendar to every year.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, NAM is still happening. We're as humans, we're resilient. We make it happen anyway. You know, and it's a strange time, but it can always be a strange time. There's always strange things going on. And like I was saying before we went live, this time the strangeness is so huge, right? And there's some strange stuff that affects the whole world, which isn't usually the case. Usually it affects my neighborhood or whatever. This is the whole world. But we have to remember it's not the only thing that's going on in the world. But because it's affecting the whole world, it takes most of our focus. Me personally, no disrespect to anyone else, I don't allow it to take all my focus. Right? I allow the good things to take my focus. I get to be home with my kids. I wasn't planning on touring in 21 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a head start. So like I told you, I get to sit at the dinner table with my family. I get to wake up with my kids when they go to private school just for fun to get up at 6 in the morning. I don't have to, but I get to do that. So I'm making the most of it. And because of this time, I get to see more people, friends of mine, because it's easier. I know where everybody is. Everybody's at home like me. So I can call them up. And if they don't answer, I say, hey, I know you're there.
No, and before we went live, you had mentioned you were getting to see guys like Ron Carter every week, and
Every week.
that's just awesome. Doing a lot of the Berkeley streams that you're doing. I know this week is coming up as Miles, but some of the weeks in the past, what is it like to kind of just take a bunch of your friends and say, hey, we're going to talk about this for a little bit?
It's really, really nice because everybody's free enough and willing to do it. And that's the cool thing about this period is that we're not as busy. Usually something happens on the news and it's bad and I see it, but I got a gig. I got to get ready for my gig. Right now, everything gets to sink in, good and bad. And the good part of it is that I realize that I need you, Ryan. I need to see you, right? I need to see my friends. I need to see, and it's really sinking in that, okay, they're telling us to be apart, but I need to see my friends. And so we'll get people like Ron Carter, Anthony Jackson, and we get together literally every week. We have a weekly bass teachers hang and we share information. And then we do the webinars. And so because of this period, I've seen more of my musician friends than I ever have. Now, we're not literally hugging each other and shaking hands, but we will. And when we do that again, it's going to mean so much more.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we haven't been able to do it. But because everybody's at home, everyone has the time, I'm finding that people are more willing to give their time, and I'm taking advantage of it, not for my own benefit, but for the world's benefit, and we're bringing people to the world so that they can learn, and it's been a joy.
Nice. And I see coming up to, or it's over a stretch, you're taking part of a music and wellness live stream. It's one thing to
Yeah.
get together with a bunch of musicians and talk about music, but it's great to see how it affects people who don't know that you're playing an A flat as well. What has it been
Right.
like kind of interacting with the two different kinds of streams? Like, obviously, it's the same format. You've got your setup going on there, but what are the differences in terms of everything else that's going on?
Yeah, well, for me, my life has kind of taken that turn a whole lot more lately. And I realized that my mom and dad, that's where they were from the beginning of our five boys. I'm the youngest of five boys. From the beginning of our musical career, which for me was my birth, I'm the last born of the five. They already were playing. They needed me to join the band to complete the band as the bassist. My parents were already, how to play and all that stuff is easy. You just got to keep doing it. You get good. That's not a big deal. That's not hard. Just got to do it enough. They were more into why to play, not just how to play or how much you play. Why do you play? Right? Is it just for your benefit? You want to be famous? Right? My mom, one time, I had told her something I had done musically. Maybe I had practiced for a bunch of hours or whatever. And my mom, being the best praiser, she would always praise and compliment. But this time she said, well, cool, what's that have to do with me? And it really set me back because I realized, wow, what I just told her benefits me. And what she was alluding to is if with music we're going to spend all this money, all this time, all this effort, we'll pay for college, we'll pay for gear, we'll pay for lessons, then I'll spend hours in the woodshed. If that's only benefiting me, is it really worth it? And so as a child, my mom forced us in her offhanded way to make us see that this effort needs to benefit the world. And so now I'm finally turning my attention towards that. Of, not just how to play. All you got to do is do it enough. You get good at it. But what you do with it once you do it. And then it turns into why are you doing it? And so, and I see the world turning to that. Now you can you can go to college for music therapy. There are movies and documentaries and studies on musicians' brains and how music can help a person with Parkinson's walk if they just listen to music and dance, or a person in the coma, if you play the right song, they hear it and they come out. So many different things that are starting to spark up about music and vibration. And I'm interested in that. And so I get a lot of opportunity to talk about that and to join others who are also interested in talking about it. And I love that.
Nice. I mean, now is especially a great time for that with, not just physical health with the virus and everything like that, but mental health, as much as we can all see good things, around us in addition to the bad, it's important to kind of look, inwards and look at what's in here and not, in here every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about it, just about every big event in our lives involves music. Right? If it's your birthday, we sing to you. Right? If you're getting married, there's music. You dance to your first song. You walk down the aisle. You choose a song. If you die, there's more music. Music is surrounding everything. Graduations, all sorts of stuff. And so we know that music's powerful. We know that it is. Church, all that stuff. And now we're getting smart enough to delve into why it's powerful. How can we use it even more? And things like that. So there's lots of studies going on. I've got friends who've been put in MRI machines and while they're studying their brain while they play and different things like that. So we're learning the power of music. And then some of us are getting smart enough to realize that these vibrations that we call music, if you speed them up, you call it light. If you slow it down, you call it rhythm. Slow it down a little further, you call it you measure it by a watch. Slow that same vibration slower, we measure it by a calendar. But what we're talking about is the same stuff at different vibrations. And so music is just a vibration that we can hear, and it's powerful.
Now, with you kind of exploring this topic further, has there been any either genre or style or even just location where you're getting music from that's a little bit different than you were previously? Now you find yourself listening to, something from more Native American cultures or something anywhere else in particular?
Nature. The birds don't sing to win Grammys, right? They sing just because the sun comes up, right? Which one of us plays music that way, right? Just because. Amazing, right? So when you listen to the sounds that are going on in nature, those sounds are real. Sometimes they're life and death. There are insects and even frogs that will make sounds together so that they sound bigger than they are, and it helps the whole tribe. So in other words, what I'm getting to is that these animals, in many cases, are using music for purposes. And it could be just because the sun comes up. But it's not usually to get a Grammy. It might be to get a mate, But anyway, the nature sounds are so natural. That's what we're all trying to be. We're all trying to be natural. And when someone's really good, we call them a natural.
Yeah.
But what that really means is they're like nature. It seems effortless, right? A bird doesn't sound like they're trying to sing. They don't go warm up in the woodshed or practice scales. They sing.
Tweet, 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 tweet. All right, now we're
That's
ready.
it. That's it. That's it. They're just singing. And so when someone is like nature, we call them unnatural. So how do we become natural locked in a room all day practicing? No, you got to get out of that room and become like nature. So for me, that's the main thing I've had the time to listen to. I live in the woods. So, and I got bird feeders close by so that the birds come close, and listen to that. But, to answer your question, there's a lot of great music out there. And nowadays, more than ever, we have access to it all. But because we have access to it all, you may have to weed through it to find out what moves you. And it's out there. There are a lot of great musicians, great music all over the world. And I'll say with this, I'm in a talkative mood today, you can probably tell. But I'll say this, rather than looking for the music that I like, I try to find something that I like in all the music that I hear. Does that make sense?
It does.
Right, because if I don't like something, when we don't like something, we usually blame the thing or the person we don't like. We forget we're talking about me. I'm the one that doesn't like it. The issue, if there's a problem, the problem's me. Right? I don't like tomatoes. It's not tomatoes' fault.
Yeah.
Right? So I've been working harder at finding what I do like in what's presented to me. And if I can't find it, then I won't criticize it.
Yeah, I mean, even just going from what I've been trying to do more is, even just while working, is kind of passively listening to something. So I've got, something going on in the background, and then I'll hear one song that's like, oh, what is this? And then I'll listen to that and listen to the album. And I've almost been trying to figure out, why do I like this?
Yes.
Even from that end, it's like, oh, why is this catching my ear? Why is this coming to me? And it's great because sometimes it's two totally different things one after the next. So you'll pass by where I'm working, and you'll hear something super dark and heavy one time, and then you'll hear kind of like a lighthearted pop song. And it's like, wait, what? Is this the same room? Is this the same person? Where it's coming from? So
yeah.
It's nice to be able to listen to things from a lot of different styles and a lot of different places with the click of a button.
Yeah. I was talking to a group of people recently online at a class, and there was an older gentleman who said he didn't like country music. So while he was talking, I went up and dialed up this new song from Steve Bailey's new record. Steve Bailey, the great six-string fretless, has a new duet record. The record's called Carolina. But he does a six-string fretless song with Willie Nelson singing.
Ooh.
Just six-string fretless and Willie Nelson. So I let this guy go on about how he didn't like country music, right? Let him go on. He's an older black gentleman, you know. Let him go on, you know. And I'm not criticizing because I get it. I was there too. I didn't like country or bluegrass till I had to play it. And afterwards, I changed the subject. I talked about something. I said, hey, I want to play something for you. And I put that song on. And you can't not, what's the word? You can't not like it. I don't know if I said that right. I should say you have to love this song.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it for the guy, and I said, what do you think about that song? He said, that's nice. I said, you liked it? He said, yeah. I said, well, guess what? That was country. And he was like, yeah, I know, I get your point. But to say, for someone to say, like for me to say, I don't like a whole style of music, right? I may not have heard something in that style that I like yet, but blaming the whole style is like blaming the whole race of people.
Yeah.
In my mind, because you tell me what you don't like, and I can show you something that you do like. You don't like rap? Okay, I'll show you something.
Well, it's funny because even with, you turned heads 2 or 3 years ago when you were playing on that prog rock tune, and I believe that album just came out last week or the week before.
Just coming up, finally, Octavision, finally coming out. Yeah.
So, is there anything that we can all be excited in that's maybe brewing from seeing some old friends over quarantine, getting to play some more bass over different things we wouldn't expect from you?
Yeah, there's a few things actually from that whole Octavision thing. When my friend Hovak Oliverdian, he's from Armenia, amazing guitarist, and I urge everyone to check out that record. I forget the name of the record, but if you search Octavision, you can find it. Billy Sheehan's on it. But I actually got quite a few calls to play on some metal and prog metal stuff. This band called Nitro was putting on a record, and they sent me about 4 songs, and I don't know if anything ever happened with it. And then the guitarist Michelangelo had me do something for his record. For me, it's just music. A different style of music. The notes are the same. It's all the other stuff beyond the notes that change, And so I was loving the fact that because of Octavision, I got all these other opportunities. But the biggest thing that I've done over the pandemic is finished writing a new book, which is the sequel to The Music Lesson. And the new book is called The Spirit of Music. And that's coming out February 2nd. And there's an audiobook version. I did an audiobook so you can listen to the book. And, I do my audiobooks differently. The Music Lesson also has an audiobook to it.
Right.
But all the characters in the book are read by different voices. So this new book, I think there's 17 different voices. And every chapter has a lot of music, sound effects. You hear the birds if we're talking about a bird. If a door slams, you hear it. But I have people like great blues artist Keb Mo. He's playing the part of my dad in the book. India
awesome.
Ari, great vocalist, is the voice of music. So she sings in the book and she speaks in the book. Daniel Levitin, the great guy who wrote This Is Your Brain on Music, he plays a role. A lot of different people. And tons of music from all the Flecktones to my brothers, to Jake Shimabukuro, the great young ukulele player, to Howard Levy. Tons of people on it. So it's worth a listen.
Very cool.
The Spirit of Music, February 2.
Would we get to hear more from Michael as well?
You have to find out.
There we go.
Yeah, it would be hard not to have Michael back. I'll put it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There are new characters and old characters. But yeah, I can go ahead and give that away. Michael will be back.
You heard it here first, everyone. Believe in
That's
Music
true.
Week. NAMM is breaking
true.
everything, from gear to stories.
Yes, that's right.
So now you
right.
mentioned your brother's playing some characters. What was it like over the holidays doing the live streaming with them?
That was really, really cool because I haven't seen them much in the flesh, and we don't get to play together as the 4 of us. We lost our brother Rudy, too soon, but so the 5 of us don't get to ever play together again, but the 4 of us don't get to do it that much. So every time we get to, it's a joy. It's an event, even for us. And we always kind of flip people out because we just show up and like, well, okay, what do we want to do? Hey, let's do this. Okay, let's do that, and we just do that, and then we arrange it on the spot. You can hear us talking in the show. Okay, and it's free like that. The same way we didn't plan what we were going to talk about now.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising. It's not a big deal. We didn't, it would be more strange if we rehearsed this conversation.
I mean,
But we feel that we have to rehearse everything we're going to play. And for me, that just means you don't know it well enough. You're not comfortable enough. Not that that's wrong. That's okay. You need to. But our brothers and I, we just get up and play.
I say, to be
We've
fair,
been playing our whole lives.
we did have a little bit of practice on this one just because we had to start and stop here. But
We had about 15 minutes of practice before we went live. Yeah.
but I'm sure that doesn't compare to the years and years you've been playing with your brothers, obviously.
No, it was a joy. And the best thing about it for me, my brothers I expected, but my kids are the same way now. I did a song in the show. That was a holiday special that we broadcast live, and people can see it on YouTube. Wooten Brothers Holiday Special. But my kids were home. I have two kids that don't live at home anymore. One's in college, one lives in New York. And they were home over Thanksgiving. And I said, my brothers and I may be filming a show. So can we record this song just in case we do this show? We can edit it into the show. So we just set up and recorded and played this song called Love Is My Favorite Word one time. One take. We just got two iPhones, spread them out, had my other kids hold it. We did it once, and they don't think anything of it. They don't, they didn't need to rehearse. We didn't need to talk about it. We'd done the song quite a few times before. We just said, Adam, you play the cajon, the box. I'll play bass. There was no sound check. I played through my little Hartke kickback that's sitting right there. There was no test. Is it too loud? Is it what? We just did it, and that's what's in the video, and it's great. And I love the fact that my kids have that mentality of, look, I've been doing this my whole life. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
I love that they're that comfortable.
Yeah, like you said, it's just something that you don't practice speaking, so to
Right.
get to a point where you're comfortable to just go on musically, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that's actually
Yeah.
something that I think is really interesting, because you are seeing a lot of stuff that's kind of been streamed and put together, one person at this, their place, someone else at their place, and you are kind of seeing a lot of that stuff that's put together that way. But when you do get to see the people who are getting together safely and things like that, it really is nice to kind of see that mojo flow and everyone together in the same room and just feeding off of each other.
People love that more. And I can guarantee it. People love that more when they feel like they're seeing something that's real. Because when things don't 100% go right, that's when the emotion comes out. In other words, when every song, everything is pitch corrected. Sounds good. But when a blues artist or a singer hits the wrong note and fades it into the right note, that's when you go, ooh, yeah. And you feel that. It's when it's imperfect, but perfect. And I kind of relate it to the circus act who's on the high wire. He's 50 feet up on a thin wire with no net. So because that performer's up there that high, the proof is they can walk straight across. No problem. They wouldn't be up there if they couldn't. Risk their life, and can't do it right? No, but you didn't pay to see them walk straight across. If they just walk straight across, takes 5 seconds, ta-da, you'd be like, what? Yeah, I didn't pay for that.
Should have been higher.
I know, you got to fall or something, But we don't want them to fall. We want them to at least lose their balance, almost fall and recover, because we can relate to that, right? None of us think we're perfect. So in an unconscious way, we don't relate as well to a perfect performance. We relate to imperfect, right?
Yeah.
Because that feels like me. So when people can see you a little bit struggling, sweating, talking about it, it almost messed up, but it didn't. People love you even more. So the circus performer who almost falls but doesn't gets the standing ovation. The person who does it perfect gets good applause, you know? And so in realizing that, our brothers, we give into that and we allow people into our performance. You see us talking about it. One more time. Hey, go to the bridge or whatever. And people love that even more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
But you have to not be afraid of it. Right? You have to be willing to go there with your performance.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the thing for musicians that are out there to start realizing. Most of us, whenever we practice and we mess up, we stop. So you get good at stopping when you mess up. Right? In basketball, when you miss a shot, you practice rebounding. You practice recovering the mistake. The game doesn't stop. But musicians practice stopping. Right? So if we can learn to recover from our mistakes, then you realize, wow, I'm really good at recovering. On stage, you mess up, no big deal.
Yeah,
right? And that's what our brothers do, you know.
You're usually a half step away from the right note there, so.
Well, hopefully not usually.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're on the right note.
Fair.
But if you do hit a wrong note, you're only a half step away from the right one. Yes.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things, just going with people who are picking up instruments at this time, that I've found with some of the people who are playing bass with me, is just, again, getting people used to the idea that, yeah, you're supposed to play this with people, and that's why you can't stop. Because, hey, you know, they're like, oh, which is the better note to play when I'm, you know, playing along to Song for My Father? Well, you got to listen. Like, that's part of what the magic is.
Right. It's like saying, hey, what's the answer to this question? Well, what's the question? You know, you can't just give an answer. You have to hear the question first. And music is like that. We respond to each other. Yeah. Cool. It's a conversation.
All right. So, Vic, I don't want to take up too much of your time here, but I'm super excited for the book that's coming out again February 2nd, and now I know to make sure to catch it on audio as well. Any last shout outs or anything like that before we head out?
You know, I will just say this. I thank Hartke, not only for making good gear, but that's the given. But the people like you behind the scenes, that's what means the most to me. And that's what I look for whenever I decide to partner with a company, is I want to know not only what is the company, but who is the company. So, you know, like Jack Knight, you know, behind the scenes, a great bass player, but even a better person, you know, and getting to be on an email or phone call with Ira or any of those people, or you, Ryan, getting a message from Ryan, you know, to do that. I'm like, Ryan, I get a whole image of Ryan with the beard and NAMM, and, you know, and it makes me feel good.
Staying warm.
I mean, seriously, it's not like, I got to deal with that guy again. It's a joy, because I realize that, and I really mean this. I'm not trying to get more free gear, you know. No, I really mean it. When I'm endorsing a company, I realize that I'm really endorsing people. And those people are endorsing me too. So we need to like each other. We need to love each other. So, you know, that really, really does mean a lot. And the company that's behind Hartke. Like when I find out that Hartke is a real guy, Larry Hartke, who is he? If I'm going to be wearing a shirt with his name and his name's going to be on every amp, every stage I'm on, I want to know this guy. And so I meet Larry, and Larry's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people put their real phone number on the back of Bass Player magazine and say, call me?
I did at one point too, even before I worked here.
You called him, right?
I did, yeah. I had to find out.
A lot of people did, just to see, and that's him. Cool dude, wears a shade, sunglasses at night. You know, but he's a cool, kind guy. Still hangs out at the store in Manhattan, you know? So, you know, getting to meet you all and realize, you know, I like these people. That's what makes me, to me, that takes precedent over the gear. You know, the gear may grab my attention, but it's the people behind it that keep me there. So I thank you, everybody, Ira, Jack Knight, all the other people at the company, for just, you know, making me feel comfortable, accepting me, And you treat you guys from when I'm around, at least I see you treating everybody the same way you treat me, and I know you treat me well. So I thank you all for that.
No,
And
it's
I urge everyone out there too. If you're going to endorse a company, turn it into endorsing the people, and make sure that you like the people, because that's who you're really endorsing. And the same way, you need to be the person that's worth endorsing, not just because you have skill, but because you have character, because you're honest, right? Because you're the kind of person that should be representing this company, right? Everybody's good. Who can't play, right? These days, and especially bass, it only takes one note, right? But who you are as a person is what my parents have always talked about since I can remember anything. That's what my parents have always talked about. And so now that I've gotten older, I find myself talking about the same thing.
Hmm.
You want to be famous, well, what are you doing that I should know about? And that's the way my parents looked at it. What are you doing that the world should know about? Just playing good bass put you in a pile with a whole bunch of other people, right? So looking for a company to endorse, I'm looking for the people, and I found them in you guys. I know it sounds like I'm buttering you all up, and maybe I am, but I'm being honest with it. So thank you.
No, it's good, especially for us at this time of the year, because normally we just get to hang out with a bunch of friends. It doesn't feel like working with any of our artists. Whether they're someone that everyone knows their name or someone that only a couple guys who listen to some obscure music do. But it's just something that there's a lot of hours usually, and there's a lot of walking, but there's always a smile, at least on my face, because who we get to work with, and it's a great thing, and it's good to see friends, and that's what NAMM does, and we believe in music because of it.
Yeah. Somebody out there says being the right partner is as important as finding the right partner. I love it. Being the right partner. Tiny Michael Lindsley's out there. That's a great bass player. He lives out in California now. He's from the East Coast. This dude's about 8'11", I think, and we call him Tiny. He's a great guy. Yeah. Cool. There's good people out there. Yeah. Well, I thank you, Ryan.
Thanks for spending time with us. Hopefully we get to do this again soon.
Anytime with our virtual NAMM show.
There you go.
This is cool.
Have a good one.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Peace, everyone.